My work is really inspired by the natural world. It's all the landscape that's around me. So we're really blessed here in the Cornwall and Devon sort of southwest to have these really complex, layered landscapes. Where we live, I'm just being inspired all the time. And it is like a painting's on every corner. Hi, my name is Clare and I'm a landscape artist from Cornwall. I've got a beautiful studio that's based in the Tamar Valley. There was no other option really for me. It was something that I've always wanted to do. The milestone really just keeps happening when my work is selling. So each year when I realise that I've got no work that's backed up, so each painting finds its person. I think the biggest challenge is being able to keep going when you have an exhibition that you've put your all into, and in those early days where you don't necessarily sell. So it's keeping your head straight, not getting fearful or worried about it. So there's those challenges. In London I was doing illustration work, so it was all subject matters. I was actually graduated at university doing acrylic on perspex, so it's a completely different method of working. And it was, I suppose, more urban. It was any subject matter was on the table, and it was nice, but I don't know, I was always sort of like looking and trying to develop. I was up there for 12 years, loved it. And then our youngest was very poorly, he had cancer at 19 months. And I think it was kind of a knee-jerk response after a big event that we started to really kind of want to get out in a bit more space, and also to be near family, because we didn't have any family up there at the time. That was quite tough. So we moved back to Cornwall. I must say my husband, who's Australian, who'd never lived down here, he was slightly more keen. I was a little bit apprehensive, I suppose, in some ways, of coming back. I don't know why, because my family are here and everything, but I'd just been away for so long, 'cause it's been 17 years since I've lived at home. So so it was a little bit of a gamble, but my goodness, when we moved back down and then being around nature again and family and space and time, and just reevaluated, and I wouldn't have moved back now for the world.
Looking at this area, the first thing I would be doing when I take the image is I'm going to be squaring it off, looking at the composition, looking for, it's effectively like a golden triangle, so I want to kind of like split it into thirds, so that compositionally I'm getting that sense that the viewer is sitting where I am now.
I think my biggest supporter is probably my husband. But if I've got doubt about not selling in an exhibition, he's always been going, it'll come, don't worry, it'll be fine. And it's true, it does, it always does. And artists, we're very temperate people. It doesn't take much to knock us, and it's just keeping that level head. So it's important to have that person in the background going, you're doing good, you're fine. In 2019, I entered an exhibition. The prize was to get selected by the public for Visitor's Choice. So I won it so they always pick two artists. There was myself and another artist called Jo Holsworth. And I was absolutely delighted. And the prize was that myself and Jo would have a dual exhibition the following year in the gallery, just the two of us, for a week. They wanted at least 20 paintings to go into the show. So I had a year to create 20 paintings. Now, I can usually create about 18 paintings in a year. So I had to really go for it to try and get that. And also I have a long drying time because it's oils. So that was a really, really big challenge. So, and also the fact financially I had to think, can I do this? Because I'd had the long break. So I created my 20 paintings. I just scraped in. It was really, really hard work. And the show was in March 2020, which was... So we were up in London, and I'd put my whole year's work into getting the show ready. I was so excited. And in March 2020, obviously, COVID hit. So while we were up there, London became a ghost town. But obviously, it was a big preparation for me to do that for the year. And I hadn't had any sales in that year. And then we had COVID. And everybody was in lockdown in the UK. So that was really frightening, because all of my events, so every year I have a planned schedule of what I'm going to do. And that was all taken away. So I had no outlet for my work as far as I could see. All the events were cancelled, and we had to wait and see. And that was quite frightening because it meant potentially that I couldn't continue my job, which I absolutely love, and it's my passion. It's to do anything else now, I know it would take a little shine off of me because it's just everything that I am. I never in my wildest dreams thought I could have a studio like I do, the time that I have to allocate to my work, being out the venues that I can get my work out into. It's just far beyond what I thought I could do. When it's at an exhibition and people are walking past and they stop and they go in and they stare and they look, and that means the world. Particularly in this day and age, there's a high probability, talking all things legal obviously, but there's a high probability you can earn a living from it, because there's usually, where there's a will, there's a way. I really think that it's believing in yourself,